Bob's Discount Furniture, home of the world's famous Bob-O-Pedic memory foam mattress. By Infinity, visit your tri-state area Infinity retailer for a test drive today. By Wise Snacks, go to windupandwin.com now for your chance to win Wise Snacks, Mets experiences, and other amazing prizes. By Geico, the #1 insurer in the New York market. And by Land Rover, above and beyond. Get to Citi Field this Friday when the Mets take on the Dodgers at 7:10. It's Free Shirt Friday, and all fans in attendance will receive a Jacob deGrom t-shirt courtesy of Delta Airlines. For tickets, visit Mets.com/FreeShirtFridays. Time now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag DataStrongFan, and you may see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Today's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Well, that's what Noah Syndergaard has done over his last 4 starts. He has been tremendous. Took a loss his last time out despite giving up just 2 runs in 7 innings. And he will try and pitch the Mets to a victory in a rubber game today. Follow the Mets wherever you are with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or tablet. It's the Mets and Nats on a beautiful afternoon in our nation's capital. First pitch is coming right up. Here's your Geico starting lineup for the Mets this afternoon. Kirk Nieuwenhuis gets the start in left field. Michael Cuddyer pinch hit last night, but still not ready to play in the field. And so that's the unit the Mets will go with today against Jordan Zimmermann, who beat the Mets back in April.
Well, his record this year, 8-5, is the same record it is against the Mets. If you're a guy who's a fan of pitching, you love watching this guy pound the strike zone. If you're a Mets fan, not so much because of his 8 wins against the ball club. But those are his Toyota numbers. And defensively behind Jordan this afternoon, Coors Light. But Den Decker's started all 3 games. Taylor and Harper have made some great catches. Escobar, Desmond, Espinosa, and Robinson. That talk with Cal Ripken for Desmond might have turned his season around. And Ramos is back in there.
Curtis Granderson leads things off. Curtis has had a terrific road trip. First pitch of the day, drilled into right center field for a base hit. Well, Granderson came up there knowing that Zimmerman likes to pound the strike zone, and he was ready to go. He's got a leadoff hit.
You know, I was telling you before the game today, as Granderson jumps all over this first pitch fastball. Zimmerman throws more strikes than just about anyone in the game. This is one of those games you're a little grumpier, you're excited, you got to have this game. I mean, this means nothing if you don't win this game today.
The Mets have split the first 2 games of the series to stay 2 games behind the first place Nationals. They'll have 3 more games with the Nats the end of next week in New York. Here's Ruben Tejada, and Ruben pushes a bunt. It's going to be tough to throw him out. Zimmerman with the underhand play makes it. So it's a sacrifice for Tejada, who was trying to bunt for a hit, and Granderson goes to second.
Of all the Washington Nationals pitchers, the closest to the Mets athletes of pitchers is Jordan Zimmerman. That was a very difficult play. In fact, he went towards third first before he kind of outran Lagares and the baseball. Not Lagares, Tejada, to make that play at first base.
So the Mets wasting no time. Granderson a base hit on the first pitch. Tejada a sacrifice bunt, 1-3 on the first pitch. And now Daniel Murphy, who has terrific career numbers against Zimmerman, will try and get the run in. And Murph takes outside for ball 1.
Almost looks like the Mets are trying to say, hey, let's score first. Let's get on top. Give the young kid a lead.
Murphy's got 3 career home runs against Zimmerman and a .321 average over 53 at bats. And he takes up an away ball 2.
He tries to pitch Murphy in. The only problem with Zimmerman is that his ball tends to leak out back over the plate. So if he's not perfect, it goes right into the zone for Murph.
And Murphy pulls one down to first, where Robinson snow cones it and makes the play for the second out as Granderson goes to third.
It's one of those where you shake your head. 2-0 pitch. You got it right down the middle. Murph was just a little quick.
So 2 out, Granderson at third, and here's Lucas Duda. And the swings have been a little crisper for Lucas the last few days. Had a double off the wall yesterday among his 2 hits. They put the full shift on against him, but Escobar close enough on the third base side to take away the bunt. And the curveball from Zimmerman drops in for a strike.
So if you assume that no help's coming, Gary, you need guys like Duda to start to have these monster second halves. Granderson's been maybe their best offensive player. Tejada's been really close with the way he's gone, but it revolves around number 21. He's got to have a monster second half.
And he pops it up. Escobar shading his eyes as he comes into the mound, and he's got it, and the Mets are turned aside in the opening inning. Noah Syndergaard goes to the mound to face the Nats when we come back. Matt Williams has not changed things in these 3 games. Wilson Ramos hit the 2-run homer yesterday for the only 2 Nationals runs. So the same unit out there. Ramos and Desmond flipped in the batting order. That's the only change against Noah Syndergaard today.
Both Ramos and Desmond seem to be getting hotter. You see the numbers, Jeep numbers for Noah Syndergaard. That 4-5 record should be much better. Fine ERA, and you see the other numbers: 15 walks, almost 80 strikeouts. Outstanding. Great whip. That's walks and hits to innings pitched.
Michael Taylor will lead things off. He's 0 for 8 in this series, filling in for the injured Denard Span in center field. We've said it a couple of times during this series, and it bears repeating. The Mets are trying to get out of Washington with a series victory, knowing that when they see the Nats again in 9 days, the Nats are likely to be much more fortified offensively. Jason Worth, Ryan Zimmerman, Anthony Rendon may all be back in the lineup when the Nats get to Citi Field a week from Friday. Span is a little further behind, but he's on the comeback trail as well. Taylor hitting at .231, just a .279 on base percentage. And Syndergaard pops the fastball on the outside corner at 98 miles an hour, 1-2. Noah has been splendid lately. Just seems to be getting better and better with each start he makes. Now his 13th major league start. Danny Espinosa on deck, and then Bryce Harper for the Nationals, who start the day 8 games over 500. And Taylor lifts one along the right field line, and Granderson will watch it sail into the seats. Out of play.
Mr. Taylor's probably saying, when am I going to see a left-hander? I mean, Harvey, DeGrom, Syndergaard, just learning how to play this game, but just a wonderful athlete. Floor on the glove.
Greatest warrior in Asgard. This one's playable for Granderson. And Taylor retired for the first out.
Well, defensively for the Mets this afternoon in the nation's capital, presented by Lexus. Neuenheisel, Garrison, Granderson, Kadari can't play defense yet. Murphy, Tejada, Flores, Lucas Duda at first base, and Plawecki doing the catching. You know, Terry Collins was addressing that. He finds it so important that Syndergaard, when he came up, has been able to throw to Plawecki, a guy he's thrown most of his starts at while he was in AAA the last season and a half.
Here's Espinosa, 3 for 8 in the series, and again trying to bunt his way on. He did that in the first inning on Monday night against Harvey, and he showed bunt his first time up last night against DeGrom as well. Espinosa's a guy with some pop. You wouldn't figure him to be trying to bunt his way on.
Well, he's hitting at about a 250 clip. Remember, there were seasons where he was hitting under 200. He's just trying to do anything really to keep that average up. You know, he went from a place where he was almost out of this league kind of player, or at least a bench player.
And now he's played himself up to the point where when Anthony Rendon comes back, instead of going to the bench, they might have other plans. That's a good changeup by Syndergaard, 2-1.
Well, here's the bunt hits in the league. Gary, when I was in the National League, a couple of times guys would bunt and then it stopped for years and years. And then I went to the American League and a couple of guys tried to bunt on me, of make the play, and then it stopped there completely. A couple of guys tried to bunt on DeGrom last night.
And Espinosa tries it again and fouls it off, 2-2.
It's really hard to bunt for a base hit off a guy who throws 95 plus. The ball's moving so hard to deaden it enough to be able to get a base hit. It's just very difficult. What he's trying to do, he's trying to bunt it in between the pitcher and Duda and beat Syndergaard to the bag. That's what he's trying to do. Failed both times.
2-2 coming. And the curveball lifted to left. And Neuenheis there waiting. 2 out. So now Bryce Harper will come to bat with the bases empty.
You know, I mentioned in the pregame we were talking about holding down Goldie, Goldschmidt, and Harper here, MVP candidates. A lot of it has to do with making sure no one's on base when these guys come up.
Well, Harvey walked him his first 2 plate appearances on Monday. Then Harper went 0 for 6, and then his last time up last night, Jerry's Familia hit him in the foot with a pitch. So he has not had a hit, although he's been on base 3 times in the series, and he hits one past the mound, but playing him perfectly is Tejada, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Noah Syndergaard, and Harper still without a hit in the series. After 1, Mets and Nats, no score. Which active position player or pitcher would you choose first to build around? Hashtag SNY tweet. It should yield some interesting responses.
Wow.
Let us know what you think.
Okay, cool. That's a good tweet.
Wilmer Flores leads off in the second and pops one up into shallow center. On comes Taylor, and he puts it away. 1 pitch and 1 out. So Jordan Zimmerman's faced 5 batters and thrown 9 pitches. The Mets are being very aggressive early against a guy who rarely walks anybody.
Well, the problem for a team is when you're facing a guy who throws strikes, you have 2 options. One, you kind of get a gauge on how he's throwing and then go after him. Or because he throws strikes, be aggressive. The issue is, though, is if you don't put the ball into play like Granderson does, then you keep the pitch count down for the pitcher.
And he ends up with a Maddox type game.
Yeah.
Neuenhuis trying to bunt his way on and almost kept it fair.
Almost bunted for a double.
Neuenhuis getting the start in left field. 0 for 4 in this series.
I think Rod Carew can watch today's game with guys trying to bunt. I think he can. You think he turns away?
Well, I know nobody ever played a shift against Rod Carew. Or Tony Gwynn. Or Wade Boggs. Curveball misses high from Zimmerman, and it's 1-1. Has not walked a leadoff batter in an inning. 93 innings.
With these new beautiful numbers, because the pitchers are not walking anybody, they're not walking leadoff hitters. You're just never ever going to make another list because they just used to walk the ballpark. So these guys are just so good.
You can make different lists.
Yeah.
How about wins?
How about walking the leadoff guy 5 innings in a row? I bet you I have one of those. I bet you they can't do that.
Espinosa gets in front of the ground ball and throws out Nieuwenhuis 2 away.
Well, these pitchers are pitching like everyone's got a 5 o'clock out of National today.
Here's Kevin Plawecki. 1 for 4 in this series. Looks like Travis d'Arnaud could be in rehab games by the weekend as he tries to come back from his elbow injury. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens when d'Arnaud comes back, whether Plawecki stays around.
Well, he's playing like he should be around, right? I mean, his hitting has gotten much better. Late in games, he's gotten hits when you expect catchers to get a little tired. He did it in the 18 inning game.
And I think also he's played enough at this point that even if he only caught twice a week, it's not like you're setting back his development if you keep him around the rest of the year.
Okay, we'll have a question for you. Bryce Harper was a catcher. They moved him to the outfield because they wanted to maximize his offensive potential. Is that something you do with Mr. d'Arnaud at some point, because you got 2 great strengths in Plawecki and d'Arnaud?
I think there's every chance that that might happen. Slowly hit. Desmond charging. And he gets Plawecki to retire the side. Zimmerman sets the Mets down 1-2-3. Syndergaard heads back to the mound for the second. Mr. Jefferson would be proud. Data Strong fan of the game. Strong. There you go. That's a Data Strong fan.
It's a little self-aggrandizing by us, but we'll take it.
Noah Syndergaard retired the side in order in the first. Will take on Yunel Escobar to start the home second. Escobar 2 for 8 in this series, 4th in the National League in batting at .322. We were talking earlier about what the Nats might do with their infield when Anthony Rendon comes back. They've got a few choices. With Desmond struggling as much as he has, there's a chance that Desmond might wind up on the bench because they've got a couple of guys who can play shortstop. Both Espinosa and Escobar are quality defensive shortstops. Could you imagine them doing that?
No. I think what happens is Escobar is going to go back to second base. Well, there's two issues. I think Espinosa's out. Espinosa's going to go to the bench. Escobar is either going to go to second base or stay at third, and Rendon is going to go to third or second. One or the other, but Espinosa is going to be out. and not deservedly so, but that's what's going to happen. Oh.
And Escobar trying to take a swing, and I'm not sure what happened to him.
He swung at a pitch that almost going to hit him, and you can see he yelped before he let the bat go, and then he grabbed his right hand like he did something to his wrist or hand.
Well, that was very strange.
Did he hurt his back? Or?
Maybe. I mean, it's almost as though something seized up as he was trying to stop that swing.
He's holding his wrist. We've seen that happen a lot to hitters. You try to stop that swing, it is trying to.
That's how Giancarlo Stanton got hurt.
Yeah, and I'm trying to let you know, the people out there, how the feeling. It feels like your entire left hand goes numb. Yeah, it is. It's a wrist. It's not good. Hanley Ramirez for the Red Sox has played a lot of the year with the same kind of injury. It doesn't hurt to swing through, but it hurts every time you try to stop your swing. And he tried to stop that because that fastball ran right in.
Where he's pointing at the top of his hand, I mean, you don't know, but Stanton broke the hamate bone in his hand,
yes.
And that's kind of where he was just pointing. He's going to try and take some dry swings, see if he's all right. He's going to give it a shot.
I like it. You know, I have to say a caveat. In years past, I've always thought of Escobar as kind of a malcontent, the way he played the game, and I thought he should have been a better player. Well, the player we're seeing today is the guy I always thought he could become. That guy who plays every day. Guy in the past would have left this ball game. He's staying in there. Kudos to him.
We also saw him out early the first 2 days of this series before everybody else taking ground balls and trying to improve his game. Well, if you're Noah Syndergaard, do you have the killer instinct to throw another fastball inside?
Pound his bush again inside as hard as you can throw it.
And Escobar lines one foul, and he's hurting again.
Yeah.
So he got back in there, took another hack, got around on it, but clearly in pain, and he's coming right to the dugout. I think he's done. Yep.
I wonder if Ugla will take the rest of this at bat, and he might be inserted into the game.
The only other infielder they have is Manny Burris. Here comes Ugla. So, we were just talking about what they might do when Rendon comes back. It might be a moot point.
We're like the mooch up here. Whenever we talk about something bad happens. So here he tries to pull his hands in, but you can tell with the contact that something serious is happening to you now.
So Ugla takes over the turn at bat with a 1-2 count. From a scoring standpoint, if Ugla strikes out, it will be charged to Escobar. If he does anything else, it's on Ugla's record. It's always the case when a batter takes over with 2 strikes. The strikeout belongs to the initial batter. Ugla pinch hit last night and struck out. And he takes strike 3 called, so that goes on Escobar's ledger. That's unfair, isn't it? Right? Against a guy like Syndergaard in one pitch?
It's not unfair to Ugla. It's not on his record. I mean, so what? I'll get him next time.
Well, for Escobar, that adds insult to injury.
Yes, it does.
So 1 out in the second. First strikeout of the day for Syndergaard. Here's Clint Robinson, who's been swinging the bat very well for the Nats. Filling in at first base for Ryan Zimmerman. Robinson 3 for 8 in this series. Last 8 games hitting .367. And the Mets have the full shift on against him.
So next time Escobar faces Syndergaard, we can say that he has a strikeout against Syndergaard on 2 strikes.
Fair or not.
Yeah, that's right.
pulled into the shift. And Flores is there to play it and throws out Robinson 2 away. Or you can say that Syndergaard struck out 2 guys in that at bat.
That's right. That's right. That was just classic pitching to a shift. Fastball away, got to the 1-1 count, threw the changeup down. He pulled the ball the only way he could pull it on the ground, right into the shift. Beautiful pitching.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Wilson Ramos, Met killer, hit a 2-run homer against Jacob deGrom. The only 2 runs the Nats scored last night. Lifetime .340 hitter against the Mets, hitting .249 against the league. And he takes low and inside for ball 1. And Ramos slugs one into left center for a base hit. Lagares cuts it off deep, and he'll hold Ramos to a single. So the Nats have their first base runner of the day. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Delta Dugout. Sign up today at Mets.com/Delta Dugout.
I know it doesn't seem very comical to the Mets, but it's pretty comical up here. How well Ramos, it doesn't matter who's pitching, how well they're pitching, he gets the job done every time.
You see, and Desmond dropped to 7th in the order today, 3 for 7 in this series. And he takes a fastball in tight. Now you tell me, is it because they make more mistakes to Ramos? Is it the luck of the draw?
He just has the wheeling feeling. You know, when you have that against a team, I think at one point against the Braves, and the Braves weren't a good team, so this is not an impressive mark. But it seemed whatever I would do against the Braves, at some point I would win. I would have a deGrom game where you would leave losing and you'd win. You'd throw a game, the first game after after the All-Star game, where it seemed like no one was trying and you get through the game. You'd give up 5 runs, but your team would score 10. It just, everything seemed to fall into your pattern.
Two and 1 to Desmond, who was having a miserable time of it. And then Sunday had a conversation with Cal Ripken, which he said inspired him. And he's gone 3 for 7 in this series, including a home run. Magic Cal.
An Oriole helping a National. I don't know if that's allowed.
Well, Desmond may not be a National for long. He'll be a free agent at the end of the year, and famously turned down $107 million, and is hoping he won't regret that. But he's had a really rough year. 3-1 coming, and he walked him. So Syndergaard, after giving up the 2-out single to Ramos, walks Desmond. And Matt Dendecker will come up with 2 men on. Last night, the Mets did not walk a batter. It was the 14th time this year that the Mets have not walked a batter in a game. That's just 4 short of a club record. 18 games without a walk.
This is one thing I've seen from the Mets with Syndergaard. If he gets in any kind of trouble in an inning, we've seen Plawecki, this time Murphy joins the fray. It's almost like they're helping him as a 22-year-old figure out what he wants to do here. Dendecker last night against deGrom had no chance against the breaking ball. Let's see what Syndergaard tries to do.
Ramos at second, Desmond at first with 2 out. Dendecker 0 for 6 in this series against his old team. Matt making his 8th start for the Nationals. He was up early in the year after the Mets traded him for Jerry Blevins, then spent several months in the minor leagues before recently being recalled. And Syndergaard misses away, and he's behind 2-0. Jordan Zimmerman, who's not an automatic out, is on deck.
He's got a little bit of mechanical issues, falling off the mound, not propelling himself through the catcher. That's why his ball is up and away.
See that extraordinary number. 0 for the last 27 against Syndergaard with runners on base.
I'd be very surprised if this doesn't work out right, a walk to Den Decker, that Wharton doesn't come out, because it's an obvious mechanical issue.
Well, it's caused him to miss badly with 3 pitches in a row to Den Decker. Would you give Den Decker a green light with the pitcher on deck?
Yes, I would.
And he takes ball 4, and now the bases are loaded. And here comes Dan Worthen.
The reason I say that is that if you have a veteran pitcher out there, as soon as they throw it incorrectly, they'll go, oh, gee, I just made a mistake there. Okay, let's correct this on the fly. When you have younger pitchers out there, sometimes it's 3 or 4 pitches. Sometimes it's 1 or 2 batters before you can figure it out. Or you have the pitching coach come out and figure it out for you.
And it's important to remember that amongst the Mets' young pitchers, Syndergaard is by far the youngest.
That's right.
I mean, DeGrom's 27 and Harvey's 26 and Matz is 24. Syndergaard's only 22.
This is what young pitchers do, is that they lose it for a couple batters and then regain it. What he's got to think to himself here is that Zimmerman's the pitcher. I throw 100 miles an hour. This should be an out.
Zimmerman, 4 hits, 3 RBIs this year. Ramos at third, Desmond at second, Den Decker at first with 2 out. And he finds the strike zone with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Well, there's the defense, pretty straight up. A little deep for Granderson in right field for my liking.
Below the knees, 1-1.
What happens a lot of times, when you look at the outfield, it should be reversed for a pitcher. If he's going to hit with power, he will maybe hit at the center, maybe be late. He's not going to be on the pull side. Good swing there, though, by Zimmerman.
Yeah, he's a lifetime 166 hitter, so he's not a great hitter, but he's competitive.
He's a good athlete. He's a tough kid from Wisconsin. Always short sleeves. Doesn't matter if it's 10 degrees or 100 degrees.
Syndergaard ahead 1-2, trying to get through trouble in the second. Right back to him. He doesn't find it. Now he does. And that ends the inning. So Syndergaard, like one big block of granite, knocking that ball down. Able to get the out on Zimmerman and keep the Nats off the scoreboard. They're your city probables for the series that starts tomorrow night against the Dodgers. Mets will see the Iron the next 2 nights, Kershaw and Greinke against Cologne and Nice. Might be Zach Lee and Joe Whelan the next 2 days, but that is undecided for the Dodgers, with Harvey and DeGrom going for the Mets. For more on the Dodgers, let's check in with Steve Gelbs, whose report today is brought to you by StubHub. Steve?
Well, Gary, you talk about Kershaw and Greinke. Who cares who's pitching after? Because those guys have just been so unbelievably phenomenal. Kershaw, since May 26th, a 1.36 ERA. He is clearly the second best pitcher on the staff, though, because Greinke in that time, a 1.15 ERA. Through 6 starts, he has the scoreless streak going right now, 43 2/3 innings pitched. And just to give you an idea of how rare that 6 straight starts without a run is, I got to look down at this because there's so many numbers here, but only 2 other pitchers in the modern era have gone 6 straight scoreless. Orel Hershiser in 1988 and Don Drysdale in 1968. If he shuts out the Mets on Friday, Greinke, he's the first in the modern era to ever do it, and he is a guy that has a 1.30 ERA. He had it on July 19th this past Sunday. The last time a pitcher had an ERA that low on that date was Bob Gibson. And, of course, that was in 1968 when he finished the season with a 1.12 ERA, which no one's matched. Pretty darn good.
He's been phenomenal. And, of course, Hershiser has the record of 59 consecutive scoreless innings. Drysdale's record of 58 2/3. So you see Uggla at second, Espinosa at third, with Escobar having come out of the game.
I just think 2 things with the Dodgers. It's so serendipitous to me. And who knows what's going to happen with Greinke. But it's the Don Drysdale hitting of a batter, where the umpire ruled that he did not move out of the way and made him hit again.
Dick Dietz.
And then Hershiser having to pitch 10 innings, an extra inning game, to get to the 59 mark.
So you're saying serendipity has been in the Dodgers' corner when it comes to these streaks.
That, and it's not as serendipitous. They like to keep the Cy Young over there in the West Coast.
Juan Lagares batting with 1 out. Lagares takes a call, 3rd strike, and Zimmerman's got back-to-back strikeouts to start the 3rd. And Juan goes away griping with Mark Wegner.
You know, I think for the Mets this afternoon, the griping has to be to a minimum. The reason I'm saying, this cat throws strikes. He's thrown strikes his entire career. His first game was against the Mets. So to think that he is not going to throw strikes today is a falsehood. Just be ready.
Granderson was ready his first at bat, hit Zimmerman's first pitch of the day into right center for a base hit. That's got him around to third, but couldn't bring him home. And Zimmerman has retired 8 in a row. Now he's behind Granderson 2-0.
Zimmerman's trying to do what Scherzer did last year: be a free agent, go out there and have one of those magical years. 8 wins so far.
Granderson yanks one foul, and it's 2-1. Zimmerman's 29. He comes off a terrific year last year, 14-5, 2.66. Finished his year with a no-hitter. Pitched a gem in the postseason, only to be unceremoniously yanked in the 9th inning, much to the Nats' despair. 2-2 to Granderson. He's not been as good this year, but he's starting to settle into that groove. The last 5 starts, 3-0, 1.99, and that's where you expect him to be.
He can also rattle off 5, 6, 7, 8 wins in a row. That's the kind of pitcher he is. 2 breaking balls there to Granderson.
Well, Zimmerman right up among the National League leaders in throwing strikes. Let's have a couple on that list. Presented by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com. Enter promo code NYM for free entry. Full count to Granderson with Tejada on deck. Curtis now 9 for 23 on this road trip. He's really swung it well. Lifts that one to the left side. Dendecker with a long run into foul ground, and he won't get there.
Well, moving positions is Espinosa, not used to being over there at third base. Went for the run. Watch him. He lost it completely. Or he might have had an over-the-shoulder type catch. I think he would have gotten there. Got the shades on, so no fault there.
It's a partly cloudy day. Humidity way down. It's very comfortable today. Temperature in the mid-80s. Same kind of weather we should expect for the game tomorrow night in New York.
Fastball in.
8th pitch from Zimmerman to Granderson, and he yanks this one into right field. Harper back a few strides, and he's got it. Side retired. Zimmerman's retired 9 in a row. We go to the bottom of the 3rd, no score. you can get interactive with SNY Game Day on SNY.TV, featuring pitch-by-pitch coverage, player cards, and in-depth stats. Check out SNY Game Day on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. Noah Syndergaard had to get out of 2-out trouble in the second. He'll face the top of the batting order in the home third. Michael Taylor leads off for the Nationals. So with that body block on the Jordan Zimmerman comebacker, opposition hitters are now 0 for their last 20 against Syndergaard with runners in scoring position. Taylor flied out to right his first time up. Now 0 for 9 in this series. Taylor's greatest contribution in these 3 games was a terrific running catch on the warning track against Eric Campbell on Monday night. That saved 2 runs as the Mets were trying to come back. And it was that fly ball and a couple of other swings that Terry Collins said led him to choose Campbell in that spot in the 7th inning last night
instead of Kadire. He also had a base. He walked and scored a run in that game, had a base hit, and that ball to Taylor.
And he was also robbed by Escobar, remember, on that liner to third.
That's right.
Taylor strikes out. Second strikeout for Syndergaard.
Just power against power.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now to Espinosa, who flied to left his first time. This is Syndergaard's first time facing the Nationals. A curveball to start him off. So for everybody in this Washington lineup, it's the first up close and personal as opposed to looking at video experience of Syndergaard.
Well, I think you can't take out of the equation, and I don't think we can really get a great picture of it, but Syndergaard is huge, and his presence on the mound, he's not only tall, but he's just a big muscular kid, and I think that's something you can't see on the video.
He started Espinosa off with a curveball and a changeup, and he goes right back to the curveball to strike him out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Syndergaard to start the third.
This is like facing, I don't know, one of the big league characters from the Game of Thrones for the Nationals. You know, I mean, come on.
So now it's Harper batting again with the bases empty. Swung at the first pitch he saw from Syndergaard and grounded out to short his first time up. Price now 0 for 6 in this series. Well, Ronnie talked about it during the open, the success the Mets have had this year against the best 2 hitters in the National League this season.
It's been Goldschmidt,
Harper and Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, and you see the numbers. I mean, that's what they've done overall. But against the Mets, they've been able to hold them down. Their on base percentages, boy, 328 compared to 458. Minimal damage. They pitched around him. There's been 10 walks. So I think they've been smart in that way. When they've gotten into a position of, do I tackle him or do I take him on or not, they've decided to pass. That's smart pitching.
But I think they've also been able to challenge them in spots and pitch effectively. Certainly that was the case against Goldschmidt.
The only problem is, one, you don't face Goldschmidt enough. But Harper you do.
Right.
And you just feel at some point he's going to break out. You just hope it's not against you.
Well, over the course of 19 games, he's going to do some damage. What you hope is that he doesn't do it in game-breaking spots. Now Syndergaard falls behind 3-1. Remember, you got Ugla on deck.
But the stirrups working today. Old school for Harp.
A couple of 22-year-olds going head-to-head. And Harper pulls one, and Flores can't come up with the short hop, and Harper is safe. Flores with a do-or-die lunge for that ball, unable to come up with it.
Well, I don't think the ball was hit as hard as he thought it was. It was a little off the end of the bat. But if he gets to it really quickly, picks it up and throws it. But if you notice, Wilmer kind of runs around the ball and kind of gave up on that play.
Yeah, I think he got lost in his feet. So it's a hit for Harper, the second against Syndergaard. And now Uggla will get his first at bat that solely belongs to him. Uggla came on to pinch hit after Yunel Escobar was forced to leave the game with an apparent hand or wrist injury. Uggla took over the at bat with 2 strikes and took a call third strike, so it was charged to Escobar. Now it's Uggla's alone. He gets tied up and held the swing in time. Ball 1.
It's starting to get around the league. Syndergaard, at this point, 22 years of age, does not hold the runners on that well. His move is not great. He's slow to the plate. I've seen other young pitchers have the same problem. It'll get better over time. Hard to learn at this stage.
He's given up 8 steals in 9 tries this year. Harper's not a big base stealer these days, just 4 steals in 8 tries himself. Mets have seen plenty of Uggla over the years with the Marlins and the Braves. 24 career home runs against Met pitching. His career has gone downhill the last few seasons, but still dangerous when he gets a hold of one. Noah behind 2-0. And Uggla tried to hold the swing. That time he went around on the changeup. 2-1.
It's a classic case of the older player, little older player or experienced player having to gear up for that 99 miles an hour and getting fooled when it doesn't happen.
Pops this one a mile high. Playable for Murphy, looking through the sunglasses, having trouble finding it, and it lands. Murph never really saw that ball, and Plawecki couldn't get there in time to bail him out.
Remember, we saw Espinosa lost it when he had to run over his head and lost it, and Murphy never saw it. You know, that is one play that if you had seen the Espinosa play, Syndergaard from the pitching mound could run off and try to help Murphy there. You assume it's always going to be the infielders, but you should always get in position just in case.
So Uggla gets a break. Another chance with a 2-2 count. And Syndergaard cutting that one outside. It's 3-2. Glenn Robinson would be next. Duda's going to play behind Harper at first base. He'll be running with 3-2 and 2 out. And Uggla takes inside, ball 4. So the inability to find that pop-up cost Syndergaard a walk, his third in the first 2 2/3 innings. This is very unlike Syndergaard, who's averaged just 1.8 walks per 9 innings this year. So now he's got to face Robinson with 2 men on.
I think, Gary, it's just a classic case of a young pitcher knowing he's in a big game. He doesn't want to make a mistake. He wants to be precise. And right now he's just missing. The 2-1 pitch to Harper was the big pitch. It could have went either way. It went against him. And he's gotten a little trouble here in this inning.
Robinson grounded out to the second baseman his first time up. Mets not putting on the full shift this time with 2 men on. And the fastball misses down for ball 1.
Plawecki is moving in and out. That's important, I think. But if your young pitcher is struggling, sit more in the middle of the plate. Just concentrate on down with that good moving fastball. 2-seam it, keep it away, make Robinson try to pull it to the right side.
Can you explain something to me?
Yeah.
When Robinson was up with nobody on, they had Flores well back in shallow right field. This time he's not playing as deep. The double play's not in order. Why isn't he playing as deep?
I'm telling you, this happens all the time, Gary. Some people fall asleep at the wheel on the field and on the bench. He should be deeper, much deeper.
Now Syndergaard behind 2-0. And Robinson takes a strike.
I mean, that initial play he hit, where Wilmer's playing now, it would have been a base hit.
Absolutely. Two and one to Robinson with Ramos on deck. Meanwhile, Syndergaard's pitch count elevating with all these walks. And Robinson grounds that one down to Duda. He'll take that himself, and that retires the side. So another changeup. Another ground ball, and Robinson grounds out and strands two. After 3 in D.C. Looking presidential, Teddy. No score. Of today's Mets-Nats game, plus all the latest MLB trade rumors and news on Daily News Live, presented by Citi, today at 5, only on SNY. Ruben Tejada leads off for the Mets as we go to the 4th inning.
A lot of rumors.
A lot of sound effects. Tejada sacrificed his first time up, and he takes a breaking ball out of the strike zone for ball 1. Tejada, Murphy, and Duda against Zimmerman in the 4th. And the slider in for a strike, 1-1.
We're the only day game today, huh?
No.
No?
Lots of day game.
Okay.
Back the Dodgers, who will be coming to New York tomorrow night, are in Atlanta. That game's in the 5th, and the Dodgers just went in front of the Braves 2-1 against Julio Teheran.
It's not a full board there in the National League on the scoreboard. That's the reason.
I think they have dropped the ball.
Okay. Well, and led to me dropping the ball, too. Double drop.
Well, let me give you the other scores while we're at it.
Yes, thank you.
Reds lead the Cubs 4-1 in the 3rd. Kyle Schwarber just drove in another run after his monumental performance last night.
When was he drafted?
I believe that was last year. Lined into right center. There's a base hit for Tejada. So Ruben has now hit in 10 straight games, and he's aboard to start the 4th inning. Just the Mets' second hit. Schwarber had 4 hits in that game last night. The tying home run in the 9th, the winning home run in the 13th, and he did it in Cincinnati, where he grew up.
First time it's ever been done, and where he was MVP of the Futures game.
Right.
First time it's ever been done by a Cub. 9th inning home run, and then won an extra innings to win since 1990. Andre Dawson.
Murphy takes fastball for a strike. Phillies lead the Rays 2-0 in the 2nd. Phillies saw their winning streak stopped last night, but they introduced a talented young pitcher in Aaron Nola,
right,
who suffered a very unusual loss. Pulled into right field, a base hit for Murph. Tejada goes to second. He'll pull in there. So the Mets with back-to-back base hits against Zimmerman to start the 4th.
For the defense against Murph, you got to play straight up because he can hit it anywhere. And a little changeup here from Zimmerman that Murph is right on and hits through the hole. One of those rare hits. We don't see many like with left-handed hitters up anymore.
Well, you can't shift against Murph the way you do against some pull hitters, so he's able to take advantage. So now Duda, who popped up to third his first time up. First and second and nobody out. And Zimmerman crowds Lucas, ball 1. Anyway, Tampa Bay beat Philly last night. Aaron Nola in his major league debut gave up a home run to his opposite number, Nathan Carnes, the only run of the game. First time a 1-0 game has featured a home run from an American League pitcher since Milt Pappas in 1962. That's 11 years before the DH began. Ball strike to Duda, 1-1. Milt Pappas was a very, very good pitcher who could hit, but had the misfortune to be the guy that the Cincinnati Reds acquired from the Orioles for Frank Robinson.
The old 30.
And Frank, in his first year with the Orioles, merely won the Triple Crown and led Baltimore to the World Series in a 4-game sweep of the Dodgers.
Mentioning players that go back home. Can you imagine if he'd gone to Cincinnati in those days? They'd have been interleague. How about Mr. Donaldson going back to Oakland last night?
He got a standing ovation.
He did. Murph's got to worry at first base. Ramos likes to throw the ball around, and Murph's trying to get a big lead at first. Watch out for the first baseman coming behind him.
Lucas with a half swing. He went around, strike 3. So Duda is a strikeout victim, the 3rd of the day for Zimmerman, and that's the first out of the inning.
Just a little slider down and in. I don't think he went. I mean, it's become automatic. He's a big, strong guy that can hold that bat around. No way.
Mike McClinsky, the third base umpire, ruled it a strike. And so there's 1 out, and now Wilmer Flores, who flied to center his first time up. There's Mike, one of the 4 M's on the crew.
As in miss?
Swing and a miss?
I just think that, you know, there's no facts behind it. Maybe someone out there has it. But in these day games, anything close to swinging the bat, you are out of there.
I don't know if it was a coincidence, but after you just made that statement, there's a big gust of wind blow through the booth.
No.
Somebody agrees.
I'm going to have to answer to someone at some point. I know it, but let's hold off for a while.
Meanwhile, Zimmerman, after getting in trouble here in the 4th, a strikeout of Duda, now ahead on Flores 0-2. And Wilmer lays off the slider, 1-2. Kirk Neuenhuis waiting on deck.
Well, Zimmerman has his A game today. So to beat him, you're going to have to be at your best. If he makes a mistake, you cannot miss it.
1-2 coming. And again, he lays off the slider, 2-2.
So he's got ahead of him away. He's thrown 2 sliders off the plate to try to get Flores to react. Now, Flores has been hitting a lot of balls the other way. If you're Zimmerman, you got to pound him in 1 pitch. He still goes away.
Well, the book on Wilmer still is that you can get him out outside, although he's made some adjustments lately and done a better job on the pitch away. Now it's 3-2. Would you even think about sending the runners?
I would not send the runners. Just not enough speed out there.
Zimmerman takes a look just to make sure. Zimmerman's strikeout numbers are down this year. Only 6.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. He's got 3 so far today. Not going, and it blooped foul back into the crowd.
Well, he waited to the 3-2 pitch to come in. I was surprised that the 2-2 pitch wasn't where he would come in. 3-2 he comes, and that's where he jams Flores.
Well, that's the kind of pitch where Wilmer, when he's going right, he hits it out of the ballpark, but he has now gone 128 at bats since his last home run. Again, the 3-2, and he hits it in the air to left field. Playable for Dendecker. And he stays with it for the out. Well, the sun out there has got to be brutal because everybody on balls hit to that side of the field is struggling today.
Did you notice that Terry Collins put the players were on the run? They were moving there. Dendecker, fine outfielder, finds the baseball. On the 3-2 pitch, he liked the swing of Flores on the inside fastball. He decided on the next pitch to have them going. Made contact, but an out.
Wilmer felt as though he had one to hit there. So after the Mets got the first 2 aboard, they have stayed put. Now 2 out for Kirk Neuenhuis, who grounded out to second base his first time up. And Kirk gets jammed. 1-1.
Oh, it's so nice to see the umpire with a brush brushing off home plate. Usually you see them just use their foot now. Nice job by Mark Wegner.
I like the whisk broom.
Yeah, right? Old time, old school.
Much more efficient, too.
Some of the bigger umpires, not a great view from the pitcher's mound, but
well, you know, you can always bend your knees. It's better for your back anyway. Neuenhuis drives one to the gap in left center. That's down for an extra base hit. Tejada scores. Murphy being waved home. A 2-run double for Kirk Neuenhuis, and the Mets break the ice. It's 2-0 New York in the 4th.
Well, that's what you're talking about right there. A hanging curveball. Wilmer Flores was mad in the previous at bat. He missed the pitch. Well, Neuenhuis does not. Best way to hit the breaking pitch is you wait for it to come to you and you hit it that other way or up the middle. Of course, Tejada's going to score. Murphy with the good secondary lead. He has the read. He's not going to be looking at the baseball. He's looking at Tim Teufel. And you know, the way they're going right now, they're going to be uber aggressive on those base paths.
Kirk Neuenhuis has only 14 hits this year combined between the Mets and the Angels. 10 of the 14 have been for extra bases. That's his 7th double to go with his historic 3 home runs. Matt Williams is coming out to talk to the home plate umpire. I'm not certain why. Are they saying Neuenhuis missed first base?
Oh, they're maybe going to challenge that?
Well, you're supposed to appeal first before you challenge, so they're going to appeal.
Yeah, you got to get on the mound, have them call time in, step off the mound, and throw the first. This has been done since the 1880s. I don't know why guys don't know how to do this anymore.
I think because of the replay rules, everybody's gotten a little messed up. Almost balked, by the way.
I didn't think he really called time back in either.
And they say that Kirk did not miss first base.
Kirk? He caught the edge.
Now you can subsequent to the appeal, use your challenge if you want, but that's not going to do that.
That was perfect base running, in fact. Caught that corner.
So here's Plawecki with Neuenhuis at second, and he goes after the slider and misses. 0-1. Plawecki grounded out to short his first time up. So the Mets get base hits from Tejada and Murphy. Duda and Flores can't move them, but Neuenhuis drives one of the gap. And it was interesting the way the Nats had their outfield position. Dendecker was all the way over on the left field line against Neuenhuis, which didn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. That's lined over short. That's a base hit. Neuenhuis around third. He'll come in to score. Bobbled in center by Taylor. Plawecki holds it first with an RBI single. And the Mets have put up a 3 spot in the 4th inning against Jordan Zimmerman. 3-0 New York.
Well, we talked about it before the game. Plawecki just keeps coming. You know, he had that little bout with the virus that gave him some vertigo. He suffered with it for a couple weeks. Didn't say a word because he wanted to be a gamer about it. And ever since then, he's taken off. Good slider. Okay, he doesn't center it. Hits it off the end of the bat. But good enough to drive in Neuenhuis.
Kevin trading a bat for an RBI. Let's go back to Neuenhuis's double. Look at the outfield where they're playing.
Well, good shot here by Bill Webb. There's no one in the picture. You know, the intelligentsia that brings up these reports has him playing where he's talking to the fans in left field. Kurt Neuenhuis, if he hits it down the line, it's going to be a base hit. You want to try to group the gaps, or that's how it used to be. Obviously not how it is now.
Now Syndergaard, who struck out his first time up. So a couple of big 2-out hits from Neuenhuis and Plawecki produced 3 runs. And now Syndergaard loops one to center. On comes Taylor to get there. And that retires the side. But the Mets put up 3 runs on 4 hits to take the lead in the top of the 4th. Well, we're celebrating 10 years of Mets baseball on SNY. After the break, we'll go back and relive another one of the thrilling moments from the past. Years. Today's tweet comes from Mike Hendler, sitting behind home plate. One of his favorite memories, seeing Tatis hit that grand slam.
Well, one great call by you, my friend. That was very, very good. It was interesting seeing the third base coach who we haven't seen
Razor
in a while.
shines.
And then finally, I think it was just for me. When I think of Fernando Tatis, if you ask me 20 years from now, what's your memory of Fernando Tatis? I will say grand slams. He's the guy that hit the 2 grand slams against Chan-Ho Park in a Montreal Expo uniform. Chan-Ho Park pitching for the Dodgers. Al Chan-Ho was in there to give up 2 grand slams. Who cares? It makes it great.
Well, Fernando, remember, his career was over, and he said he came back to the game because he wanted to build a church in his hometown, make enough money to do that, and he had a nice couple of years with the Mets, and he was able to go back to his hometown and build that church.
I was saying before, one of my favorite players, Tatis, watching him play. One of the strongest guys pound for pound in baseball. My other favorite was Damian Easley when he was on those teams in those years.
And Tatis was such a sweet man.
Yes,
just
he was.
Terrific guy to be around, and you always were happy when he enjoyed success. So Noah Syndergaard now staked to a 3-0 lead. Will take on the Nats in the bottom of the 4th. Wilson Ramos will lead things off. Noah's had some stress the last 2 innings. Had to pitch around some 2-out trouble. in part because of his walks. So he's thrown 57 pitches already through 3 innings, more than he'd like.
This is the shutdown inning of the season for the Mets right here.
Ramos had the first hit against Syndergaard, a single to left center in the second. And he takes the first pitch low and in for ball 1. Ramos, Desmond, and Dendecker 6, 7, and 8 in the Nationals batting order. Mets getting big hits from Neuenhuis and Plawecki to grab a 3-0 lead in the top of the inning. There's a strike, 1-1.
Plawecki's getting better and better behind the plate, framing those pitches. That ball was about not 2 inches, an inch outside, and he just subtly brought it back for a strike.
And a wild swing at the curveball from Syndergaard, 1-2. We've not gotten any word yet on Yunel Escobar, who left the game with a hand or wrist injury while batting in the second inning. This is a Nationals team that just can't afford to lose any more people.
Might push up the timeline of Mr. Rendon, by the way.
Well, he's out on rehab. Worth is out on rehab. Zimmerman is out on rehab.
Span's going to be a few more, at least a month.
We saw Strasburg throw a bullpen session yesterday. He's probably a few weeks away. Full count to Ramos.
You have to treat this game, if you're Terry Collins, like the 7th game of a postseason series. You really do.
(3-2) coming. Hit to center. Lagares had him played perfectly. 1 out. Now, do you say that because it's the Nats and Mets will be either 1 or 3 games out, or is it more because of what comes up the next 2 days?
The combination. It's the definite combination. You have to at some point prove to these Nationals that we have the firepower in Harvey, DeGrom, and Syndergaard to shut you down, beat you in series. And then second, you got to go back home and face Kershaw and Greinke. And you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, you've struggled offensively. If Greinke and Kershaw are on their game, Kershaw and Greinke, I should say in that order, it really doesn't matter what you do unless your pitcher matches them 0 for 0.
Well, the Mets had a series in L.A. where they faced Kershaw and Greinke, and they won 2 out of 3. They're at the standings in the East. That's 2 games behind the Nats, also 2 games behind the Cubs for the second wild card. And there are the standings flags.
And remember, as we get closer and closer, there was a lot of talk about who you were going to face up to August 2nd. And those teams' combined winning percentage were what, 567, 565, something like that. And to make it there, playing well and close, pretty impressive. Especially with the lack of firepower.
Well, you're talking about Cardinals, Nats, Dodgers, then Padres, Nats, and the Padres are playing better now too. They lost last night, almost got no hit by Chris Heston, believe it or not. But they've been playing their best baseball of the season the last week or so, which makes their intentions less clear about what they'll do at the deadline after all that buildup. Another full count for Syndergaard now against Desmond, and keeps going like this, he's not going to get much more than 5 innings in today.
Well, the White Sox, the San Diego Padres, and the Atlanta Braves, I think, were the 3 teams that did the most in the postseason. The Braves, you'd have to say, are been a resounding success when you think about it. Off season, apologize.
Toward the middle of the diamond, and it sneaks through for a base hit. 3rd hit for the Nationals against Syndergaard.
Desmond has gotten hot here.
So 1 out and 1 on for Matt Dendecker.
The White Sox have been a disaster. And then the San Diego Padres, the jury's still out.
Funny thing is, though, you look at those 3 teams, they all have about the same record.
Yeah.
But the Braves were expected to be at the bottom of the
rebuilding.
pack, right? And they have outperformed expectations.
They've won the last 2 nights, haven't they, against the Dodgers?
And they've continued to retool on the fly. They haven't been afraid to make the small moves to try to make their team better as the season's gone along.
They bring a guy in. Can you play? Oh, you can't. See you later.
Right.
Who's next?
Right.
It's like a barbershop over there.
Dendecker walked his first time up. Up and away for ball 1. Well, one of the teams they traded with this year is the Dodgers, right? They got Uribe for Callaspo. Callaspo just had a big hit for the Dodgers to put them in front of the Braves. They're up 3-1 in the 6th. There goes the runner. Pitch outside. Plawecki's throw. And Desmond almost came off the bag, but he was able to keep contact and has the stolen base.
Well, he's a 20-20 man when he's at his best, Desmond. 20 home runs, 20 stolen bases. Nothing Plawecki could do. I talked about it before. Syndergaard just takes too long. A nice job by Tejada staying with the runner. It's something that's done all the time now because of the replay.
6th stolen base of the year for Desmond, so he's in scoring position with 1 out. 2-0 to Dendecker. Desmond dancing off second, drawing Syndergaard's attention. And now it's 3-0.
28%. You want to see it if you're in the elite, 30 and above, but that's very good for a rookie catcher. Of course, the guy in St. Louis does it about a 50% clip, but you can't include him.
3-0 with the pitcher Zimmerman on deck. And Dendecker takes ball 4, so Syndergaard's troubles continue. That's his 4th walk. This is a guy who had walked only 15 batters this season in 12 starts, and now he's walked 4 batters in 3 1/3 innings. So Dan Warthen's going to trudge out there again for some more counsel before Zimmerman bats. How do you play this if you're Matt Williams?
Well, I think you have to bunt. You have to try to get back in this game, even though there's 2 outs. The only issue is if the corners are really pinching hard. Zimmerman has a pretty good, 160 hitter, 150 hitter. He's a guy that can put the bat on the ball, so you could take a chance.
Yeah, I think from Matt Williams' standpoint, you bunt just to avoid a double play.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what you want to avoid at all costs. Zimmerman had a shot back to the mound with the bases loaded his last time up, and Syndergaard was able to body block it and get the out to keep the Nats off the scoreboard.
I had many of these outings when I was a young pitcher, and I remember Mel Stottlemyre would come out a half dozen times during the game, and the next day Davey Johnson would always say to me, "Hey, Mel did a good job of burping you through that game, didn't he?"
The Nats 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position today. Nets look for the bunt, and Zimmerman takes a strike. So Syndergaard has held the opposition now to 0 for their last 21 with runners in scoring position. Got Desmond at second, Dendecker at first, and 1 out. He's held the Nats off the scoreboard, but he's had plenty of traffic to deal with. Murphy, the third baseman, giving the signs to the infield. When did that become the third baseman's responsibility?
It was David Wright. It was the captain's responsibility. It's been passed on to Murphy.
Zimmerman bunts it foul. Right before that pitch was thrown, Tejada made a dash to second looking for a pickoff throw. It seems that most teams don't have their third baseman give those bunt signs.
Well, they do, especially with the right-handed pitcher, because the pitcher's looking right at him.
Okay.
He doesn't have to turn around.
Because you always think of the shortstop as being the captain of the infield.
And the signs are the same for every team, so everybody knows what's going on. Just it's the lowest common denominator of these signs, Gary.
See if he's bunting with 2 strikes. They'll try, and he fouls it off for strike 3. So Zimmerman can't get the bunt down, and Syndergaard has his 4th strikeout.
Well, that was a nice job by Syndergaard. Come with the breaking ball. You know, Zimmerman had his heart in it. He just couldn't get it down. Good pitching.
So it's left to Michael Taylor with 2 out and 2 on. Taylor 0 for 2 today, 0 for 10 in the series. Today he's flied to right and struck out. So Syndergaard continues to slog his way through, trying to put up another 0 here in the 4th. And Taylor takes a fastball for a strike. Syndergaard closing in on 80 pitches working in the 4th inning, so the Mets are going to need plenty of bullpen here today.
That's it sharply. Tejada can't get it. Base hit. Desmond around third heading home. Neuenhuis's throw to the plate cut off. And the Nats have their first run of the day. Michael Taylor with an RBI single, and it's 3-1 New York.
That was a big 2-out hit by Taylor. Out of the outstretched arms of Tejada. Looked like a strong throw by Neuenhuis that maybe you could have let through here and seen if there was a play at the plate, but that wouldn't have been. Desmond's too fast.
Well, you really hope in that situation your shortstop can knock the ball down with 2 outs, keep it on the infield, and leave the bases loaded, but Tejada just couldn't quite get there.
Desmond was dancing off second base. Tejada went over a little to try to keep him close. Might have cost him a step.
It's a big batter for Syndergaard. It's a 3-1 game now. You got Bryce Harper on deck, first and third and 2 out. Espinosa at the plate. Taylor, who can steal a base, draws the attention of Syndergaard. You got Dendecker at third, who's also fast. So if Taylor takes off, do you throw through?
I think that at this level, he should be able to throw through to Tejada, who can nail Dendecker if he wants to come home. But as a catcher, Gary, you've got to look the runner back at third first, or give him a piece of, a look. Gary Carter was the best at the fake to second. The runner would come off third, and he'd nail him at third base. I just think with Syndergaard pitching, the chances of catching Taylor as a stolen base attempt are very rare.
Taylor has 8 steals and 11 tries. And that misses. So that base hit by Taylor snapped that string of 22 straight at bats against Syndergaard with runners in scoring position where he hadn't given up a hit. They're going to nick you sometime.
This is an important pitch here because you don't want to make an error by throwing a fastball because you think the guy's stealing. Espinosa has tremendous power, especially with the fastball middle plate in.
And he hits one toward the middle. Tejada gets to this one and throws on Espinosa to end the inning. So Syndergaard cracks and gives up 1, but no more. And strands Harper on deck. 3-1 Mets after 4. There's your fifth inning recap, brought to you by Chrysler. Mets got 3 runs in the fourth. Big hits for Kirk Neuenhuis and Kevin Plawecki. Noah Syndergaard has staggered through 4 innings. He's walked 4. He's given up a run on 4 hits, thrown over 80 pitches, but he has himself a lead as we go to the 5th. Juan Lagares sitting 9th in the order will lead off against Jordan Zimmerman. Lagares took a call, 3rd strike his first time up. That's put up 3 runs and 4 hits against Zimmerman in the 4th. And Lagares takes the pitch letter high for a strike. Curtis Granderson on deck, and then Ruben Tejada for the Mets in the 5th. One and 2 to 1. Pulls one toward the hole, a base hit. So Lagares with his 4th hit in this series, a leadoff single to start the 5th. And that time doing it behind in the count. Now Curtis Granderson, who had a base hit to start this game on Zimmerman's first pitch. Then he flied out to end the 3rd.
Well, Lagares has got a stolen base in this series, 7 on the year, been caught 3 times. I know the Mets have gotten a few hits here against Zimmerman, but you're not going to get a lot in a row. I'd like to see him try to steal a base here.
I just go back to late last season when he was forced to steal. And he was successful 8 out of 9 in about 2 weeks.
Maybe they should force him again. Although Terry Collins was saying most of his players who can run a little bit have the green light. Yeah, that would include Lagares and Granderson.
It's one thing to have the green light. It's another thing to be told you must steal.
That's right.
And that's what they did with Lagares last year, just to get him going, because he didn't really have the confidence to take off on his own.
Zimmerman, though, 5 pickoffs this year. It's good a move from a right-hander that you'll see.
Granderson lifts one toward the left field line. Long run for Dendecker, but he gets there across the line into foul territory for the first out. So Granderson retired 1 away, and now Ruben Tejada, who got the Mets' 3-run 4th inning started with a base hit to right center. Sacrificed his first time up. Ruben now has a 10-game hitting streak working. He has his average for the season up to 257. Mets are 1 run from their magic number.
That's right. 35-5 when it's 4+.
35-5. Now it's not the best record in baseball when the team scores 4 runs. The Astros and Royals are each 44-6 when they score 4. The Dodgers are 42-6 when they score 4. But 35-5 is pretty darn good. And what all those teams have in common is they all have terrific pitching.
The problem is the number that they're at right now. If it doesn't waver on that, they're not very good.
Well, I think the point is that nobody's very good.
That's right.
When they score 3 runs or less. In fact, the Mets are 14-40 when they score 3 runs or less. And that's 11th best in the majors.
Well, it makes sense. I mean,
right?
Yeah.
Are we being surveilled? They hot it down on strikes. That's strikeout number 4 for Zimmerman, and the second out of the inning.
Don't kid yourself. We're always being surveilled.
Oh, that's right. That camera.
That's right. Good fastball there by Zimmerman.
It's like I said to Keith earlier this year. You know, the whole thing is on TV, right?
Sometimes he forgets.
I know. I have to remind him. Murphy had a base hit and scored a run in the 4th inning. 1 for 2 on the day. It's not been an easy road trip for Murph. Just 5 for 27 in the 6 games since the All-Star break. He has yet to get on any kind of real hot streak this year. He's been back from the disabled list now for the better part of a month.
But Murph's got his best numbers, in my estimation, as far as power is concerned, against Jordan Zimmerman. 3 home runs against an elite pitcher.
And a pitcher who does not give up many home runs. Never has.
And he pulls one off the glove of Robinson and into right field. Lagares going first to third. Harper's throw across the diamond, not in time. Murphy hit it so hard Robinson could only get a tip of the leather on it. It's a base hit for Murphy, and the Mets have runners at the corners with 2 out.
Boy, that's a ball he's got to catch. I don't know what else to say there, folks.
Well, we've seen it in this series. Robinson is not blessed with a great glove at first base. Made a big error last night that helped the Mets along. Home plate umpire Mark Wegner staring in the Nats dugout. I'm not sure why. Are they? What are they challenging?
I don't know.
They challenging the call at third?
Maybe the call at third. Did Lagares come off the base when he slid at third, and Espinosa stayed on him with the tag?
Well, it appears that the Nats are challenging, and we'll take a look. So the Nats are challenging. Let's take a look.
There's the hustle by Lagares. Now let's see when he pops up. You pop up. It's called a pop-up slide. Yes, he might have done it.
Looks like his foot came off before his hand came down.
He came off and straddled the bag and reached down to touch the bag with his 2 hands. Watch this. And as he does, he's being tagged.
Well, Espinosa kept the tag on him. That's what we were talking about before. And
you know what, though? It might not be irreversible because that right foot, you can't tell in our shot if that foot's off the bag.
So the left foot was off, but was the right foot still on?
There we go.
Let's see.
I mean, that's how you're taught. You're taught a pop-up slide. You want to keep contact with the bag, of course.
Yeah, the right was off also.
Yeah.
Yeah, they may reverse this.
Whoa.
It would be huge. Making that third out of third base with your cleanup hitter coming up, no matter how cold he's been.
Yep, he did like a little step ball change there at third base. Might have cost him.
One more time. Espinosa had the tag on him all the way, and both feet are off the bag at one point. So, yeah, there's every chance they might reverse it.
It's almost like you have to relearn how to slide. The slide cannot be a pop-up slide anymore. It's got to be a slide that's through the base, and you stay on the base. You might even see more slides head first now because at least you can grab the ball, bag with your hand and stay on it.
Play under review brought to you by Mazda. The 2 crews that are in New York monitoring the replays, Gary Cedarstrom's crew and Bill Miller's crew. You see both feet are off the bag at one point. So, it's whether they feel there's clear and convincing evidence, but there's every possibility that the Nats may win this challenge.
See his left foot kicked, right foot kicks his left foot. He's up in the air, then he touches.
But the question is, is there definitive proof that Espinosa had the tag on him the whole way?
It's going to be a hard call. for those folks in Park Avenue. Good luck.
Mr. Cedarstrom, Mr. Miller, your cohorts.
You know, we've been really good friends, you know, and if, you know, maybe at Smith and Walensky we can tempt you with a big steak someday or something. Good people both.
Well, it's a big call because Mets up 3-1 in the fifth. Would have first and third and 2 out if the call stands with Lucas Duda coming up. Meanwhile, Zimmerman's just standing around, not throwing any warm-up pitches as the review time lags. And on we go. Did you see the call that got overturned in the Pittsburgh-Kansas City game yesterday?
It has to be a ballpark issue. I do not get it.
Ball hit the fence in Kansas City and then went over the bullpen fence. Never touched the ground, never touched a fielder, never touched a fan, and yet they called it a ground rule double.
I don't get it.
I've never seen anything like it.
It's got to be a local rule.
Clint Hurdle said it looks like they're making up the ground rules as they go along. Well, it's 4.5 minutes since the last pitch, and they're still looking. And here we go. It looks like they're taking the headsets off. And they, wow, they confirmed the safe call. Boy, the Mets may have caught a break there. Certainly looked like every chance that they could have overturned it, but the Mets get the call, and the call stands.
I just think with you, Gary, that it was not clear, so clear that they could reverse it. And I also think what has changed is that anything that is not really, really clear, they're not changing an umpire's decision. It's not going to happen.
So, Matt Williams loses his challenge, and the Mets have a chance to tack on, leading 3-1 in the fifth, with Duda, who's popped up and struck out in his 2 at-bats. He's already left 3 runners on base, and he comes up with a couple more. Lagares at third, Murphy at first, and 2 out. And Lucas, first pitch swinging, turns one around. A little bit too anxious.
Hits one up in the campers.
It was an upper deck pulled foul ball, which is kind of rare. Mets have 7 hits. They could sure use another right now. And Duda goes after the high fastball. 0-2. You see how Lucas's average has fallen off. Has a couple of hits in this series, but now he's down to the count 0-2.
You know, I don't have many faults with Jordan Zimmerman. I think you guys could tell I appreciate the way he can pitch. But when he gets ahead, he's such a strike thrower, Gary. He doesn't always go out of the strike zone when he gets ahead and uses that good quality breaking pitch in the dirt to retire a hitter.
That's nubbed 3 inches in front of the plate, and Ramos throws out Duda to end the inning. The shortest ground ball in history. The Mets strand 2. Let's go back to our Toyota tweet of the game. We asked if you were starting a franchise, which active player, position player, or pitcher would you choose to start with? Jack says Mike Trout. It's hard to argue with that. Clayton Kershaw. He is 27. We'll have some more answers in a moment. One of the guys who might be mentioned, Bryce Harper, leads off against another one in Noah Syndergaard.
Yeah, right.
I mean, considering they're both 22 years old, you'd have to consider them both in that conversation, right?
Yeah.
Harper had an infield hit that trickled off Flores' glove in shallow right field in the third. His first hit in this series.
Chris Bryant, Kyle Schwarber, on and on. How about Giancarlo?
I think that if you're asking me,
yeah,
I think you have to pick a position player because of the fragility of pitchers.
I agree.
I think it's wonderful to have great pitching, and you need numbers to do that, and certainly the Mets are doing that. But to say one guy, even if it's Kershaw, who's been so successful, what happens?
Well, especially now where they only make 30 starts. You know, it's 30 out of 162.
Well, I'd take 30 starts with 22 wins. That's okay. But, you know, year to year, what's the likelihood I'm going to have that guy in my rotation?
I want a middle of the lineup guy who's just.
I think right now it's really hard to argue with Mike Trout because he does so many things well. Great defender, stolen bases, home runs, on base percentage. And Flores can't get to this one. And Harper has his second hit of the game. I guess Bryce must have heard me.
He did.
Well, Austie says Bryce Harper. A vote for Yadier Molina.
Wow.
It's hard to figure that at age 31.
Yeah. Cards fan.
Yeah,
465.
Again, DeGrom, fantastic, but he's 27, not 22. So, interesting answers all. Meanwhile, the Nationals have the leadoff man on in the fifth, and they get the tying run of the plate with Dan Uggla, who walked in his only official plate appearance. Double play ball right at Flores. Tejada with the turn for the easy 4-6-3 double play. So Syndergaard, who's faced traffic all day long, deals with it in the best way possible. One pitch, 2 outs.
Boy, he could really use that. Interesting here. Trout makes the left turn and doesn't even try to take out Tejada. Interesting kind of play. Sorry, Harper.
We have fish on the brain.
Exactly. Sorry, guys.
So 2 out and nobody on. And now Clint Robinson, who's been up twice, grounded out both times on changeups. And he takes the fastball down for ball 1. So if you had to pick one, who's your guy?
Yeah. My guy's Mike Trout. I love Harper. I really do. I love him as a player. He's just Trout has the perfect demeanor for an everyday player. He's just quiet, cool. Give me the bat. I'll go out, do my thing. Never any drama. You just feel that kind of personality lasts a long time.
He's a Jersey guy.
He's a Jersey guy, but he acts like an Ohio guy. He's just very.
Oh, South Jersey.
Yeah.
2-1 to Robinson. And the changeup away. Couldn't get him to roll over that one. Now it's 3-1.
And when you watch Trout, he's already changed his game from, okay, I'm going to run a little less, but still run. I'm not going to swing at the first pitch one year, but I'm going to swing at the first pitch this year. I'm going to hit for more power this year than I did last year.
What's impressed me most about Trout this year is that the second half of last year, he clearly had a hole.
Yeah.
You could go upstairs with a fastball and get him out. Can't do that anymore.
That happened in the postseason.
Yeah.
And I think it really helps that he's got Mr. Pujols there every day.
Well, they've been quite a tag team this year, sitting at the top of the American League in home runs. I mean, that's a good team that has really kicked it in gear now. They've won 12 of their last 14. Got a 2-game lead on the Astros now.
I mean, you know, Keith, when he came to the Mets, he had that with Rusty Staub, having that old sage you can talk about hitting all the time.
Robinson checks his swing and takes low ball 4. That is a career high 5 walks now for Noah Syndergaard. They're your AL home run leaders.
J.D. Martinez, folks, last night hit one in Detroit, 466 feet.
Dead central. After Nelson Cruz in that same game had hit one 450 to the same spot.
He's having the same kind of career that Jose Bautista had.
Right.
A slow start, later in age, has turned it on.
So 2 out Robinson at first. Syndergaard pushing toward 100 pitches, and the Mets are going to start getting the bullpen active. Hansel Robles, first man up in the Mets bullpen.
That was the same pitch that Ramos hit a home run off the ground last night. Same pitch, just missed it. Outside fastball, belt high.
Well, he's hit the ball hard twice today. Single to left center, lined out to center field. But Ramos and the Mets together, and things become combustible.
They need to pitch him down and in. That's his Achilles heel. They're going to try here.
I mean, he looks like he should be vulnerable away because he's so far from the plate, just like Galarraga.
But anyone who starts wide open, they've got to close. If they close, that makes them vulnerable in. It doesn't seem like it makes sense, but it does. Going there again. See how different that swing is than the one when the ball's away. He really has a few beautiful extension. Here he's got to pull his hands in. That's a more awkward swing.
More of a broom swing.
Yeah. He got him with a breaking ball, swinging at a breaking ball in the dirt away. Made him look bad. Let's see if he goes back to that pitch. No. Back inside again.
1-2. Grounded weakly toward Murphy. And the side retired. So Syndergaard works around his 5th walk of the day. He's held the Nats to 1 run through 5. Be a question: who's the only Mets pitcher to hit 3 home runs in a season?
Whoa. I thought it was 41, but you know, you think of number 16. Think of the little left-hander.
He never hit one. Mike Hampton didn't hit one as a Met.
Really?
Nope.
A Rocky? Is that when he went
7
crazy?
the next year as a Rocky.
Oh, geez.
But he didn't hit any as a Met. I think he had 20 hits, but
yeah.
Now Walt Terrell hit 2 in a game. Did he have another that season?
No, I don't think so. 2 against the Cubs, won 4-0, 2 2-run home runs. What a game!
That's better than Nate Carnes.
That's right.
That's more Rick Wise. Rick Wise threw the no-hitter and hit 2 home runs in the same game. Doesn't get any better than that. 2-1 to Flores, who's flied out twice today. Neuenhuis and Plawecki to follow. Mets got all 3 runs in the 4th. Neuenhuis and Plawecki had the big 2-out hits. Syndergaard is due up 4th in the inning. He's at 98 pitches through 5 innings. Desmond handles the ground ball and throws out Flores 1 away. Keep in mind, this is the first time in quite some time that a Mets pitcher is pitching on regular rest. Mets have gone 23 straight games before today where a pitcher had at least 5 days rest between starts, but Syndergaard going on the regular 4 days rest.
And he's had a lot of pitches under duress, Gary. I think he's going to be pulled, personally.
Robles continuing to throw in the Mets bullpen, so it certainly appears as though the Mets are planning to make a change. Here's Neuenhuis, who has the biggest hit in this game, a 2-run double that gapped in left center in the 4th. And Zimmerman gets ahead of him 0-2. Kirk takes just off the plate, 1-2.
No, you were talking about that series when the Nationals come in and they might have Rendon and Zimmerman and Worth. You know, the only issue.
As Neuenhuis goes down on strike.
Well, I'll say after go to the studio.
Jonas Schwartz is in the studio. He has a game break. It's brought to you by Honda. Here's Kevin Plawecki with 2 out. He fouls it off.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that, you know, you just assume they're going to come back and hit 350. So, you know, I think it behooves them to make sure they're 100%. They don't rush them back. And when they get them for the rest of the haul.
Well, especially with Worth and Zimmerman, who've been out for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, Rendon was out. He came back. He played some games. He got hurt again. But he hasn't been out quite as long.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. So they're going to have to move some parts around to make room for their regulars. 0-2 to Plawecki. And he takes inside. See, the Dodgers started Mike Bolsinger today. Brett Anderson got hurt last night, hurt his Achilles. They say it's not serious. He would have pitched Sunday against the Mets, and I'm not sure whether he will or not. And then they've got nothing but fill-ins. Remember, they lost Hyun-Jin Ryu for the season. They lost Brandon McCarthy for the season. So they've got to make a move for a starter, I would think.
They got all the money in the world. They're going to make a move. Absolutely. The name I've heard, other than Cole Hamels, which everyone's heard, so is Giovanni Gallardo, the Texas Rangers.
He's been pitching very well, and you can get him back in the National League where he can swing the bat.
That's right.
One of the best hitting pitchers in the game. 2-2 to Plawecki, who drove in a run with a base hit his last time up, but he goes down swinging on the slider, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Jordan Zimmerman. He's got 6 strikeouts for the day, but the Mets have a 3-1 lead. brought to you by Budweiser. Still brewed the hard way. This Bud's for you. By Cure Auto, 25 years of saving you money. Cure Auto Insurance. Drive well. And by DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New York Mets. Hansel Robles will make his first appearance in this series.
He's only allowed a couple of runs in his last almost 11 innings of work as he's gotten better, whittling that ERA down.
Pitched the 12th inning Sunday in St. Louis. Allowed a walk but no hits. He'll face Ian Desmond to start the home 6th inning. And Desmond takes inside. So Noah Syndergaard, 98 pitches over 5 innings. First time since that odd start in San Diego that he's failed to go 6. Remember, he had the 10 hits allowed and the 10 strikeouts in 4 innings. He and Andrew Kashner.
That's right.
On back-to-back days.
It's an important game today. I thought he did a fine job as a 22-year-old, sticking in there, making the pitches when he had to, pitching around his own foibles, his own walks. Showed a lot of grit.
5 hits and 5 walks, but only 1 run in 5 innings. Desmond grounds one to the left side, circling around to Tejada. Not a lot on the throw, and he's safe. Tejada could not get away a very good throw after circling around that ground ball, and Desmond beats it out.
It's almost like he had to get this on his backhand and then fire it. There's no way to get Desmond, who has great speed and obviously beats that by a mile.
So Desmond is on base for the 3rd straight time, a walk and now 2 singles, and that gets the tying run to the plate with Matt Dendecker. Dendecker's been up twice and Syndergaard walked him both times. Jordan Zimmerman is out on deck to bat for himself. They do have Sammy Solis up in the bullpen. And Dendecker showing bunt, takes ball 1. So it'd be interesting to see what Matt Williams does here. Might depend on what Dendecker does. If he gets on, then you can use Zimmerman to bunt and keep him in the game. Zimmerman's thrown 90 pitches through 6 innings. Murphy now in on the grass after that bluff bunt, and Dendecker swings through the fastball, 1-1. Syndergaard, by the way, with his 1 run in 5 innings, lowered his ERA below 3. He's now at 2.97 for the year. And in line for his 5th win if the bullpen can get him 4 good innings. 2-1 now to Dendecker. The Mets used their top 3 in the bullpen last night. Mejia pitched the 7th, Parnell the 8th, and Familia the 9th. And if Robles can give them the good 6th, they may use the same formula today.
I think that's what they're going to try to use here in the future. They're going to try to do what the Royals and other teams do. Have a crossover in the 7th, a crossover guy in the 8th, and Familia in the 9th.
Good fastball by Robles, keeping it away from Dendecker, 2-2. Dendecker still looking for his first hit in this series. He's played all 3 games against his old team. Guy who was traded for, Jerry Blevins. It's been taking a long time for that forearm to heal. Still not cleared to throw after getting drilled by a line drive back in April. Inside, and now a full count to Dendecker. A little surprised the Mets don't have Sean Gilmartin up in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Gilmartin gave the Mets 3 terrific innings on Sunday. 3-2 coming. Foul back.
Yeah, they've really trying to power arm it today through these Nationals. Gilmartin shown a lot of moxie for me watching him pitch, and being a Rule 5 guy, being a starting pitcher his whole career, being told you're going to be in the bullpen, and all he's done is pitch well.
3-2, nobody out. Desmond on first, not going, and Dendecker able to reach for that one and foul it off. They've gone to the 9th in Atlanta. The Dodgers up 3-1 on the Braves. Looks like the Dodgers may be in New York before the Mets.
Justin Turner and Puig, I don't think either of them played today.
They put Carl Crawford in the lineup for the first time today. Came off the DL yesterday, and Puig sat. Again, the 3-2. And that's ball 4, and the Nats have the tying runs on base with nobody out, and that'll keep Zimmerman in the game.
Boy, that is a cardinal sin to walk the 8th place hitter.
3 times today Dendecker has drawn a walk. And now the Mets will gather at the mound and talk about their bunt defense with Zimmerman coming up.
So Murphy at the mound asking Tough what kind of play he wants to put on. The Mets don't have enough speed at shortstop to play the wheel. Tejada's not as fast as Desmond, so him beating him to the bag, unless he plays halfway.
Yeah, you have to cheat.
Yeah, you have to cheat. It's not going to happen. So if you don't cheat, that means you have to play halfway. That means Flores has got to think about a covering first base, and there's no one to keep Desmond close.
And remember, you also have a rookie pitcher on the mound. So Zimmerman gets the bunt down this time. Plawecki says, I'll take it, and gets the out at first. So Zimmerman, who could not get a bunt down in the 4th inning, does so this time. 2-4 on the sacrifice, moving the tying runs into scoring position.
Well done. Breaking ball here by Robles, and just plunks it off the end of the bat. Stops it just barely on the grass. Nice job by Plawecki, and the layout by Robles. Well, he has not hit for a lot of power, but Michael Taylor has gotten a lot of big hits for this Nationals team.
Infield back, ready to concede a run on a ground ball. Taylor drove in the Nats run with a base hit in the 4th. And he tries to stop the swing, but he went around. 0-1. Desmond at 3rd, Dendecker at 2nd, both with a lot of speed. Sean Gilmartin has gotten up in the Mets bullpen, with Harper 2 batters away. And Taylor swings through that fastball. Doesn't look good on these first 2 pitches, and it's 0-2.
Hasn't looked good against the real tough fastball. 97 miles an hour there from Robles. The ball split the plate.
Well, Hansel could use a strikeout. Oh, 0-2 to Taylor. A little bit high. 1-2. An infield hit and a walk. Then a sacrifice, putting Robles in jeopardy, which is where Syndergaard spent most of his 5 innings. Taylor was the only guy who got a run in against Syndergaard. Now trying to do the same against Robles. One-two. Just missed.
Whoa. Close pitch there. Taylor took it, got the call from home plate umpire Mark Wegner. Good on the knees fastball, or maybe a little below.
Danny Espinosa on deck. He's thrown 4 fastballs in a row. 2-2 coming. Struck him out. Went right back to the high fastball to get Michael Taylor. 2 men down.
Well, good choice of pitches. He really didn't have a rhyme or reason. He just wanted to let that go and throw it as hard as he could. And that pitch up and in eludes the bat of Taylor.
And now it's Danny Espinosa. Runners at 2nd and 3rd, 2 out. Espinosa's 0 for 3 today. Desmond at 3rd, Dendecker at 2nd, Harper on deck. Huge batter for Hansel Robles. They've got Gilmartin ready to face Harper, but remember, Gilmartin, like Alex Torres, has backward splits and is not necessarily a lefty-lefty specialist. Mets just don't have one of those, and haven't since Jerry Blevins got hurt. Espinosa golfs one foul, 0-1.
Well, Espinosa from the left-hand side. The book is he's a down hitter. He's got pop on the fastball down. Anything from the belt up is the way to pitch him.
See his splits. Pretty much the same power from both sides. higher average hitter right-handed. He started the day hitting just 170 with runners in scoring position, and he grounded out with 2 men on to end the 4th. Ball and a strike.
We were talking about how he's elevated his game a little bit. Only a career .213 hitter from the left side. In fact, he's hit from the right side against right-handed pitching at times. Milwaukee out there to console Robles. Okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to try to get this guy out.
Well, this is the most important inning that Hansel Robles has pitched in the major leagues. And there have been a lot of visits in this inning. Murph went over after the strikeout of Taylor to refocus him. Plawecki and Flores all spending time at the mound.
They're trying to do everything to be on point. That's how important this game is.
Clouds overtake the sun for a moment. 1-1 to Espinosa. And he grounds one to Tejada. Difficult hop. And Duda stays on the bag, side retired. That was a routine play that was anything but routine. Tejada played it into an offbeat hop. Duda had to make an awkward sprawl, but it all worked to get Robles through that 6th inning, still 3-1. Home runs in a season. We think it's Seaver. No, it was Walt. See, you told me he didn't hit another home run that year.
Oh, he's going to be all over me from Indiana, I'll tell you, or Kentucky, or wherever he is. Sorry, Walt.
John Mayberry leads off pinch hitting for the Mets. Mayberry's got good career numbers against Zimmerman, 3 hits and 6 at bats, and he takes a strike, 1-1. So good for Walt Terrell. It's the second line in the record book for Walt.
Jack Lazorko last night, Walt Terrell today. This is beautiful.
Now, you know, Met fans who are a little younger might not remember the connection that you have with Walt Terrell as Henry Mejia's up in the bullpen.
That's right. He and I were both traded for Lee Mazzilli in 1982. We both became Mets. Both became great friends. I was his teammate in AA in Tulsa with the Texas Rangers. Then went to AAA and was very close with he and his family when I got there. They were just the best.
And for the Mets, that's hit to shortstop, and Desmond's got it. 1 away for the Mets. Walt Terrell was the gift that kept on giving.
That's
because
right.
The Mets turned around, traded him to Detroit, and got back Howard Johnson.
His nickname with the Mets was Crazy Crab. Do you know why?
No.
When we were in San Francisco, the mascot for the San Francisco Giants at Candlestick Park was a crazy crab. That was his nickname.
Right.
And Walt had enough one day, because he used to prance around the field, that during the game, now this certainly wouldn't happen now, he'd probably be kicked out of the game or something, he tackled Crazy Crab in between innings, and he became the Crazy Crab after that.
Crazy Crab has since been retired by the Giants in favor of Lucille. Juan Lagares 1 for 2 today, had a base hit in the 5th inning. Mets 3 runs, 7 hits. The Nationals 1 run, 6 hits. Zimmerman was left in to bat in the last half inning. Got down a good bunt. Approaching 100 pitches now. And he gets the high strike to Lagares, 1-2. And Juan tries to hold the swing on the pitch inside, and he stopped it in time. 2-2. Curtis Granderson on deck. And Lagares lines one right at Desmond, and he picks it off for the out. Made the throw unnecessary because he did catch the ball in the air. Well, there are your starters today, brought to you by People's United Bank. Noah Syndergaard is on the front end of this game, but he's out of the game. Jordan Zimmerman's on the short side, but he's still in the game. Syndergaard walked a career-high 5 batters, but managed to limit the damage.
Again, did a great job. Gave up 1 hit with a runner in scoring position, but pitched tough with runners on.
Sammy Solis up in the bullpen. He was ready for Granderson, but not needed right now with 2 out and nobody on. Granderson's 1 for 3 today, singled back in the 1st. And takes the curveball low, 2-0. And Curtis hits one in the air to right center field. Pretty deep, but playable for Taylor. Right in front of the warning track to get it and retire the side. Zimmerman's retired 7 in a row. We're at the 7th inning stretch. Time for Henry Mejia with the Mets up 3-1. All the Mets trade news and rumors, or numers, whatever. Plus a complete breakdown of today's Mets Nats finale on Mets blog presented by Citi, part of the SNY.TV blog network. How can you tell news from rumor when it comes to trade talks?
People really don't care now, Gary. News is rumor. Rumor is news. Who has to be accurate? Let's be first.
Henry Mejia will pitch the bottom of the 7th for the Mets.
Well, Henry was great last night's ball game, and the Mets are where they believe in their strength. They've got 3 crossover right-handers who can get lefty and righties out, and the plan is Mejia, Parnell, Familia with a 2-run lead.
So you're saying Terry Collins now has a chance to do what Ned Yost does in Kansas City?
Yes, and that boy is a great thing.
Got a lead after 6. You go to those 3 guys. It all started with the nasty boys in Cincinnati. Remember? With Gibble, Charlton, and Myers. Bryce Harper leads off and takes a strike.
The only issue is that Herrera throws 100 miles an hour. Wade Davis hasn't given up a hit in about 4 years now. And Holland, who's their closer, might be
the weakest link.
The weakest link.
Yeah. Well, he almost gave it up last night. Harper with the left side of the infield open, thinking about trying to drop a bunt.
I like that play.
Well, you're down by 2 runs.
Love
it's
that
the right play. And it's a play that not enough of these left-hand hitters have tried. And it brings Tejada in a little closer on that left side. He's the only man there. And Harper takes a vicious hack. 1-2.
Looks a little out of sorts. That was a hanging little slider in the middle of the plate. A pitch he usually doesn't miss. And now he's holding his wrist.
Yep. Very similar to Yunel Escobar, who left this game back in the 2nd inning. Wow. After taking a half swing. That is not a good sight if you're a Nationals fan. Harper trying to feel a little bit better as he grips that right hand, but it's not feeling good.
You could watch for the bunt here if his wrist isn't better. I know it's 2 strikes. I'm just saying. You know, Escobar couldn't swing after he took that 1 extra swing.
1-2. And he taps one down to first. Mejia gets over to cover. Harper retired. And we'll keep our eye on Harper to see whether that wrist is going to be a problem going forward. See him flexing it as he goes to the dugout. So 1 big out for Mejia in the 7th.
Funny that no trainer has come up to him yet. I mean,
well, all I can think is that perhaps it's something he's dealt with before, and they're not concerned because he's dealt with it and played through it. Dan Uggla came in for the injured Escobar. He's had 2 at-bats of his own, walked and grounded into a double play.
Today's game, I mean, the owner comes down if something like that happens. EMT.
Clint Robinson on deck. 0-2 coming. And it just missed low and away. 1-2 to Uggla. Mets 3 runs, 7 hits. The Nationals 1 run and 6 hits. Mets trying to patch together 4 innings from the bullpen after Noah Syndergaard staggered through 5 and allowed just 1 run. Mejia pitching for a 2nd straight day. 2nd time he's done that since he's been back. And he strikes out Uggla for the 2nd out. A hard cutter away. Picks up his first strikeout.
I think also with the way that Henry throws, with that body movement going towards first base, I think it's very difficult to just pick the ball off him. And it's such a natural movement for him to throw it.
You just don't see many pitchers throwing cutters at 94 miles an hour.
And you don't see anyone throwing like him either. He's a little man that throws hard.
Well, he really, really, really wanted to be a starting pitcher. But last year, when presented with the chance to close, he wound up relishing it. Now adjusting to a more subsidiary role, trying to be part of a late inning trio with Parnell and his buddy Familia.
Well, it'll be interesting if the Mets shore up their offense. You know, Duda hits like Duda can hit, and others, and they get themselves in a place where they're playing some great September baseball and thinking about getting themselves in the postseason. Then they lose Henry.
Yep. Well, what you do if you get to September, you pitch Mejia every day. Yeah. If you're going to rest anybody, you rest the other guys. 1-2, fouled away. But that is part now of that 80-game PED suspension, that you are not eligible for the postseason, and the Mets know that. They will operate accordingly, but as long as they have Mejia available for the rest of the regular season, barring any ill health, they'll ride him. Robinson 0 for 2 and a walk, and he socks one in the air to right field. Granderson should have plenty of room, and that retires the side. So a 1-2-3 inning for Mejia. Robles turns in a scoreless inning, so does Mejia. Now we're going to the 8th in D.C. Mets 3, Nationals 1. Should.
Yeah.
It is. It's extensive. It's kind of stirring. I love the music. Very nice. Matt Thornton will pitch the 8th inning for the Nats.
Well, we saw him in the series already. He's just been outstanding for a long time. Still throws hard. Pretty good slider.
Worked a 1-2-3 inning on Monday night. There's your Mets box score, brought to you by Wise. Big hit belongs to Kirk Neuenhuis, a 2-run double to put the Mets in front of the 4th, and they've been in front ever since. Ruben Tejada 1 for 2 and a sacrifice today, and he shoots one foul, 0-1. Jordan Zimmerman went 7, allowed 3 runs, 7 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts, 102 pitches. That's got all 3 of their runs in the 4th off Zimmerman, who retired his last 7, but now out in favor of 38-year-old Matt Thornton.
Tejada drives one deep left field. Back goes Dendecker to the edge of the track to run it down.
Tejada making a bid and coming up short. 1 out and nobody on. Let's check in with the studio. Jonas Schwartz has a game break brought to you by Ford. Dodgers snapped their first 2-game losing streak in nearly a month. That's how solid they've been. Daniel Murphy 2 for 3. But here's the real Achilles heel for the Dodgers right now. We mentioned the fact that their starting pitching, once you get past the top 2, is pretty shaky right now. But their bullpen, I saw this stat today. Ken Rosenthal tweeted it out. Since May the 15th, the Dodger bullpen, other than Kenley Jansen, has a 4.90 ERA.
That's when Jansen came back, right, from the broken foot.
Right.
Huh.
Tapped down to third. And Espinosa makes the throw to get Murphy 2 out. So they've got some issues. I mean, obviously they've got the best 1-2 pitching combination in the game right now in Kershaw and Greinke, but you can bet on the Dodgers making some significant moves in the next 9 days.
Yeah, because of their seemingly unlimited funds.
And now they've got an overloaded outfield as Duda comes up with 2 out and nobody on. With Crawford back from the DL, they've got 5 guys for 3 spots.
Well, it's the problem they had before. Ethier, let me see Bobby Parnell up. Ethier has really been a big part of that offense, and you know, he said, I want to be on a team that plays every day, because if I play every day, I know I'm going to put up the numbers. Well, he has.
Well, and Mattingly has said that he's going to keep that job and that Crawford's going to be more of a backup guy. But they also have Scott Van Slyke, who's going to play against all the lefties. So they've got a lot of talent in that outfield.
And Puig, who's got all the talent in the world, has struggled more than all of them.
Duda fouls it off 1 and 2. Well, it all starts tomorrow. 4-game series between the Mets and the Dodgers. Our coverage begins at 6 o'clock tomorrow night on SNY. Bartolo Colon goes for the Mets against Clayton Kershaw.
Bart needs a good one, doesn't he?
Well, you know what might be his saving grace? He'll have Anthony Recker behind the plate tomorrow.
They both seem to work so well, and Terry Collins was mentioning it. He doesn't think Colon's won a game since Recker was sent down and hasn't been his kind of everyday catcher.
So Recker undoubtedly will get the start against Kershaw. Duda grounds one to the right side. Laying out is Espinosa, and he makes the play. So that's the third baseman on the right side. That's the 5-3 with 4 in parentheses. At least that's what we're calling it now.
Yes.
Bobby Parnell will pitch the bottom of the 8th with the Mets up 3-1. The Boston Red Sox make their first ever regular season trip to Citi Field for a 3-game series against the Mets Friday, August 28th through Sunday, August 30th. Purchase tickets online at Mets.com/tickets.
Oh, yeah, because they played, what, a preseason game, right, against the Mets? Did they play a preseason game where Chris Carter was with the Boston Red Sox? The little Chris Carter got a base hit?
Was that the game before we opened the ballpark?
Yeah.
After St. John's Georgetown and before Mets Padres.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a good memory. I'd forgotten that.
It's so bad. Call him little Chris Carter. I mean, he
well, compared to the other Chris Carter, he is little. But the Mets' little Chris Carter was the animal.
That's right. That's right.
Wilson Ramos leading off in the 8th against Bobby Parnell as the Mets put this new 7th, 8th, 9th combination into action for the 2nd straight day.
Bobby Parnell looked the best I've seen him since he's been up, through a 96-mile-an-hour fastball to end his night last night. Mostly two-seamers that he'll sink. He's got that spike curve that he'll use.
Ramos is 1 for 3 today. Ian Desmond on deck. Ball and 2 strikes. Drew Storen up in the bullpen for the Nats. Abel de los Santos is up as well. They'll only use Storen, I would suspect, if they are able to tie the game here in the 8th. Ramos chases the breaking ball. Parnell strikes out his first man. 1 out in the home 8th.
Nasty hook. Set him up with those 3 straight fastballs, and then this one drops off the table.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Ian Desmond, who's been on base 3 times in a row today. A walk and 2 singles. He's stolen a base and scored the only Nationals run. Desmond now 5 for 9 in this series. You think Cal can do a motivational tour?
Speak to a few shortstops that are struggling.
Anybody would want that pat on the back. I don't know if it'll have long-term implications for Ian Desmond, but it's worked in the short term.
Well, like I said yesterday, it carries so much weight, because when you're a taller and larger shortstop who's known for hitting some home runs and having extra base hit power, you certainly had to model some of your game after the Iron Man.
Well, he was the progenitor, wasn't he? I mean, Ernie Banks came before him. He was the first really big shortstop who hit home runs. But then came Cal, and then was A-Rod and Nomar.
When I was a kid, when I was a shortstop, my father wanted me to watch the Blade, who was a tall guy but extremely skinny. Mark Belanger was a shortstop for the Orioles in those days.
There's ball 4, and Desmond is on base for the 4th straight time. So the tying run will come to bat for the Nats. But Belanger was not a hitter.
He wasn't a hitter at all. He was like a, low 200s hitter. But he said as far as how he played the game defensively.
Back in those days, back in the 60s and 70s, you could play a shortstop who was strictly a glove man, whether it was
Buddy Harrelson,
Ray Euler.
Yeah.
Who was a terrific glove man with the Tigers, but hit 180. Eddie Brinkman with the Senators. Yeah. Here's Dendecker, who's walked 3 times in a row today, tying run at the plate, and he drives one to center field. On comes Lagares. He'll have to play it on the hop. And the Nats have the tying runs on base with 1 out. Dendecker on base for the 4th straight time, his first hit in the series.
Just a fastball sinking away. Better hitting here by Dendecker. He didn't really catch that on the fat part of the bat. That's why Lagares could never get to it.
Now Tyler Moore will be the pinch hitter as Jerry's Familia gets up in the Mets bullpen. The Nats have 2 left-hand bats on the bench, switch hitters Manny Burris and Jose Lobaton, but Moore the much better hitter.
And he also gives you a chance to take the lead in the game. He's got some power. His first full season in the major leagues, Davey Johnson was the manager. He had 10 bombs.
The problem with Moore, this has been the problem throughout his career, and this is typical. When he plays, he hits.
Yeah.
But he's never been a great pinch hitter. But he'll get the pinch hitting opportunity here.
We've seen it with the Mets as much as any organization. They've had some hitters that have come up hitting 350 and then sit on the bench and they can't retain their strength.
Josh Satin.
Yeah.
Moore is 4 for 32 as a pinch hitter this year, which really just continues a career-long trend. He's 0 for 2 in his career against Parnell. Batting with the tying runs on base and 1 out in a 3-1 game in the 8th. And Moore takes the fastball on the outside edge, 0-1. Good speed on the bases. Desmond and Dendecker, they've been on base all day. Between them, they've reached base 8 times out of 8. But only once have they come home. Desmond scored on a base hit by Michael Taylor in the 4th. And blocked by Plawecki. That's a big one. Keeps the tying run from getting to scoring position.
You know, in that year that he hit 10 home runs, ball here by the spiked curveball that spiked into the dirt. He had a huge home run. One of those 10 was a pinch hit home run against R.A. Dickey when the Mets were winning 2-1. He had a 2-run bomb.
One and one to Tyler Moore. And he lines one to left field. Neuenhuis right there, though, to make the grab for the second out. Moore hit a bullet, but Neuenhuis in just the right spot, and there are 2 down.
Well, there's plenty pitches you make, like the pitch to Dendecker, which is a pretty good sinky fastball he hit a base hit on. And sometimes you got to get away when you make a bad pitch. This one right down the middle and hit like a bullet right at Neuenhuis.
So 2 out and 2 on, and it's left to Michael Taylor, who's driven in the only Nats run with a 2-out single in the 4th against Noah Syndergaard. That's got a scoreless inning from Robles, a scoreless inning from Mejia, and Parnell trying to match it. And he misses up and away for ball 1 to Taylor. Taylor 1 for 12 in this series. He struck out twice today. One and one.
Well, Parnell almost balked there. Right before he put that foot off, he kind of moved his body a little. Not caught by the umpires.
1-1. First to check at second. Desmond's already stolen a base today, and this pair is perfectly capable of a double steal.
Yeah, Murphy's playing so deep at third base. Right-handed hitter up.
And Taylor fouls back the fastball. 97 from Bobby. That's the hardest pitch he's thrown since he's been back. It's good to see.
You know, we saw 96 yesterday. Someone tweeted it that it was 97, but we only saw 96 here on the gun.
Nonetheless, he was throwing 91 to 93 when he first started back from Tommy John surgery. So little by little, that velocity is coming back.
Like Ramos, let's see if he can throw that curveball in the dirt. That's the pitch against the youngster Taylor.
1-2 coming. He misses low and away with the fastball. 2-2.
Well, he's got it, huh? 97, 2 in a row.
Sometimes it's just about cutting it loose.
Sometimes it's about the adrenaline of the 8th inning with guys on base.
2 out, 2 on, 2-2 to Taylor. And the curveball bounces away from Plawecki, and that moves the runners up. Taylor held the check swing. The curveball trickled away, and the wild pitch moves the tying run to second base.
Costly wild pitch here. I don't think there's anything that Mr. Plawecki could have done. He did everything he's supposed to. blocked it off his chest protector. Usually it comes down soft, but this one hits his chest protector kind of more around his hip and bounced left.
It's 3-2 to Taylor. If Taylor gets on, dollars to donuts, Jerry's Familia is going to come into the game. Espinosa on deck, Harper behind him.
3-2 breaking ball.
Line left field, base hit. Desmond is in. Here comes Dendecker. Neuenhuis's throw not in time, and the Nats tie the game. Michael Taylor, who drove in the first run with a 2-out single, drives in the Nats' second and third run with a base hit, also with 2 out. And it's 3-3.
Well, Parnell went right after him. This started at the wild pitch, and that changed the entire inning. Moved him to second to third. He came after him with a fastball. I told you Taylor's got a lot of big hits for this ball club. Neuenhuis played it as well as you can. Dendecker's just too fast. Watch Dendecker. He's almost halfway to third base. Wow.
So Parnell, who has been so good since coming back from Tommy John surgery, hurts himself with a walk to Desmond. Gives up a base hit to Dendecker, a wild pitch, and then Taylor drives in a pair. Now Taylor takes off. The pitch inside to Espinosa, and Taylor steals the base. 9th stolen base of the year for Taylor to put the go-ahead run into scoring position.
Well, that was just almost automatic. That Taylor was, as they've gotten the tie here, trying to push the envelope. Beats the ball pretty easily. If you're Ruben Tejada, you kind of have to go down, maybe even on your knees, and block that like a catcher. Hate to see that ball drifting to center field.
See Espinosa's numbers against Parnell. He's 0 for 4 today, 3 for 12 in this series. Taylor at second and 2 out.
And Espinosa shoots one down the line. That's a base hit, and the Nats will take the lead. Taylor's in to score. Espinosa with an RBI double. Washington has scored 3 times in the bottom of the 8th, and they lead 4-3.
Oh, what a shame. A lot of good stuff has happened. See the defense. Murphy playing as far as you can play off third base. And Espinosa just drives that ball down the third base line against the defense. And there's no way Neuenhuis, of course, is going to have any play on Taylor. And Espinosa trades places with Taylor at second base.
So Parnell has yielded 3 runs in the 8th inning. And the Mets fall behind for the first time today. They'll walk Bryce Harper intentionally. That's a no-brainer, and bring up Dan Uggla. But big 2-out hits from Taylor and Espinosa. Let's quickly get Carlos Torres up to work in the bullpen, as Parnell suffering through his first bad inning since coming back from Tommy John surgery.
Well, that's just a shame, because so much good has happened. Carlos Torres in the bullpen in this ball game. Parnell has been so good, but after Syndergaard only going 5 innings, your bullpen had to be perfect over the last 4. Parnell has not been.
So now Uggla will come up with 2 out and 2 on. Drew Storen is ready to go in the Nats bullpen. He'll be looking for the save in the 9th. Mets will have Flores, Neuenhuis, and Plawecki due up. They still have Michael Kadire and Eric Campbell sitting in the dugout ready to pinch hit, with the pitcher's spot due up 4th in the inning. First, Parnell has to secure this 3rd out and keep it a 1-run game. Uggla came in for an injured Yunel Escobar in the middle of an at-bat in the 2nd. He's walked, grounded into a double play, and struck out. Espinosa at second, Harper at first. When Michael Taylor filling in for the injured Denard Span. We've seen his athleticism. We had not seen much of his bat in this series, but he's had 2 huge hits this afternoon. And Ugla grounds one to Tejada. They'll go the long way, and he gets Ugla to end the inning, but the Nats rally for 3 in the bottom of the 8th. Off Bobby Parnell. Now they'll hand it off to Drew Storen to try and save it in the 9th in the rubber game of this series. 4-3 Nats. We go to the 9th with Washington up 4-3. Well, the Nationals able to rally in this game. They're without half their lineup, but what they do have is a lot of athleticism.
Well, I think what has happened, Gary, is that, like the Mets, who don't have a couple of their really good players, and it doesn't lengthen that lineup. What the Nationals have done, and the reason they've stayed in first place, is that the guys that have taken over those positions have such great athleticism that even though their offense is challenged right now, they can steal bases. They can score from second base early. They can play defense very well. A guy like Matt Den Decker that the Mets treasured for a long time is a guy that maybe you don't think about as an everyday player, but he has to be now, and he was a big difference in this game. Ian Desmond has his best series probably of the year. He steals a base and scores. Michael Taylor automatically steals a base and scores. All those little things are things that the Mets right now with their reserves can't do because they don't have that athleticism.
Flores takes a strike on the outside corner, and Storen quickly ahead 0-2. We saw Storen in a non-save situation on Monday night. Gave up a couple of hits. Now trying for his 29th save. He's blown only 2. Flores 0 for 3 today. 3 for 11 in this series. Neuenhuis and Plawecki to follow. Pitcher's spot due up 4th in the inning.
So the shame thing for me is that they played 7 just gutty innings against one of the elite pitchers in this game, in a game they needed, and they got ahead, and they just needed things to fall perfectly, and they didn't there in the 8th.
We'll see if they can respond here in the 9th against one of the better closers in the game. And Flores able to lay off the slider, and it's 3-2. It's 2-2.
He's one of the better closers in the game, but he also can be rattled a little bit.
This has not been a place where Bobby Parnell has enjoyed pitching. See his numbers at Nationals Park. And today was one of those days.
I mentioned it last night. Remember, he threw the 11 or 12 curveballs in a row to Danny Espinosa.
2-2 coming to Flores. And he stops the swing on the pitch up and in a full count. So Storen got ahead 0-2. Now he's gone full to the leadoff hitter in a one-run game.
You know, sometimes when you're stuck in these games where you have a bad inning, you can turn that around and make it even a bigger win if you can come back against a guy like Storen.
3-2 to Flores. And Wilmer goes down on strikes. Chased a pitch out of the strike zone. One down in the ninth.
Fastball away, fastball down, and Wilmer swings.
Over anxious swing there. Ronnie and I are done here. Gary Apple, Nelson Figueroa will have all the highlights, the reaction, the interviews, the opinion, the analysis. It's all on the post-game show. WB Mason post-game live right after the game. Here's Kirk Neuenhuis with one out. And Kirk takes a breaking ball for a strike. Neuenhuis had the two-run double that put the Mets in front in the fourth, and they stayed in front until the bottom of the eighth, when it was the Nats with the two big two-out hits, going in front 4-3. Well, the Mets looking a little discombobulated against Storen here in the ninth.
You know what it looks like? It looks exactly like they were doing in some of the other games where they struggle, where everyone's going up there trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Storen's trying to walk you. Take it.
0-2 to Neuenhuis with Plawecki on deck. And Kirk just got a piece of that to stay in the at-bat. Well, the Mets needed a little extra from their bullpen today with Syndergaard slogging through 5 innings. Robles got it done. Mejia got it done. Parnell couldn't. Meanwhile, the Nats have gotten 4 outs from their bullpen. They need just 2 more. And Neuenhuis again just gets it apiece. Matt Thornton pitched a 1-2-3-8, so he's pitcher of record on the long side. After Jordan Zimmerman pitched 7, allowed 3 runs and 7 hits.
Spits the bit too.
Again, the 0-2 to Kirk. And he takes it up and away. 1-2. That's at home after the game today. Start a 10-game homestand tomorrow night against Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers. Kershaw tomorrow night. Greinke Friday night. One-two. Again, he missed away with the changeup. 2-2. Neuenhuis working his way back into the count. 2-2 coming. And the backdoor breaking ball got him looking, and Kirk not happy at all with Mark Wegner's call. Back-to-back strikeouts for Storen, 2 men down.
Didn't have to be. Breaking ball that comes around the plate, and you see Ramos snatch it back in over that outside corner.
And Neuenhuis is still screaming at Wegner as he walks down the dugout steps.
Well, he took a tough at bat. That did not have to be a strike. Thought it was a ball too. Never see him get angry.
And so the Mets are down to their final out of the afternoon. Kevin Plawecki, the batter, 1 for 3 with an RBI today. And he takes a fastball for a strike. Eric Campbell on deck. He'll pinch hit if Plawecki can keep it going. And Kevin takes another fastball, and now he's down to the count 0-2. Mets are down to their final strike. That one skips to the backstop, 1-2. Twelve straight Mets have been retired. Milwaukee trying to snap that and keep this game alive. Now it's 2-2. Two to Plawecki. Outside, and another full count. All three hitters in this inning have fallen behind but hung tough. Now it's 3-2 to Plawecki with 2 out. And he fouls it back. This will be Storen's 20th pitch of the inning. 3-2 to Kevin Plawecki. And he checks his swing. He went around, strike 3, and the ball game is over. Storen strikes out the side in the 9th, and the Mets take a huge kick in the gut as the Nats score.